Okay, we'll call this special city council meeting Wednesday, March 8th, 2023 at 6 p.m. The first item on the agenda is the resignation of Chief Jamerson.
You need committee to push this forward or move to accept the resignation for Chief Jamerson.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion.
Okay. Motion's been made to accept the resignation of Chief Jamerson. Is there any discussion on it? Hearing no discussion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second's been made.
Lauren,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Motion carries. Second item on the agenda is Police Committee.
All right, given the opening, the police chief position, committee got back together and we had a candidate that was still in the banks from the first round of hires. So committee's recommending to hire Kevin Litton, starting at $93,000 salary.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, there's been a motion to approve hiring Kevin Litton as the new chief of police. Is there a second?
Has that been to the employment committee? Has that been to the employment committee
It doesn't have to,
or doesn't?
no. Any other discussion on it? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and a second's been made.
I do have one question. Did we have an effective start date?
I would say immediately after this meeting if it carries.
What are those guys' qualifications in that business? I know nothing about him at all.
Say what?
I said, what are those guys' qualifications, et cetera? I don't know anything about him at all.
Okay, that would be part of the discussion, I guess.
I just have the same question. I don't remember him from before. I guess.
Okay,
He was in our first round of interviews and he had, I think he was everybody's top pick, but his condition was, or the circumstance was that he was in Tioga. And so that was the main issue, was just him not being located in Stanley.
Is he still in Tioga?
He is still in Tioga, but he will be getting an apartment here in town. He is married, and so he will also keep a residence in Tioga. But he had great qualifications. He went to school for it. He's currently a deputy with the Williams County. He has high recommendations. When we went through the interview process, he was, I think, everybody's top pick, but his location is what the issue was.
Is he still mayor?
He said that he would be willing to pass on being mayor, so he was willing to give that up.
we have not, though, made that a part of this, right?
No.
Okay. Any other discussion on it? Okay, we did get a second, right? All we needed is vote from,
Lauren,
Mr. Mayor, can I take any input from the public before you guys vote? on that?
if you wanted, I was asking for discussion, I guess.
I would like to. I'd like to address that. I was on the search committee, asked to be on the search committee for the chief, and I can tell you, it wasn't my top selection. I thought that there was a problem and that he wasn't going to live in Stanley. He was the president of the city commission. It's not the mayor, but they have a city commission. He told us that he had duties that he had to attend to as the president of the city commission. He also said that if there was a problem that he couldn't get here within 20 minutes, he's not on official business. He comes from town over here. Not going to get here in 30 minutes. I think that that's something that really, I guess, stuck in my decision-making in regard to a recommendation to the police committee and to the city council. Is that I think that it's very important that we have someone that lives here. I think it is very, very important that we have law enforcement that have a connection to the city. Because as far as the things that he had in his resume, absolutely, no problem. But he made it very apparent that he was not going to leave Tyler. He made it very apparent that his wife, who's also in law enforcement, had ties to that community as well. And with her job, that he just couldn't do it. And so that was the reason, I guess, for me anyway, as part of that committee, I couldn't make a recommendation as far as the number one. Is there are just too many things in it that I think are too important to let go. And that is, you just need someone with their feet up. Important things. We just took off. Dylan Thomas, here about 6 weeks ago, just took off. And it's a half a pound of methamphetamine that they found. And 2 people that were out at the Holiday gas station. Half a pound. If you look at that, that's 2 grams. So a packet of sugar that you get at when you go to have a cup of coffee. Figure 202 of those. That's what we took off of those people. With the existing Stanley Police Department. It's important that we have people that have who lives here, that have things that they can do here. Under this, we've also had the SRO. You guys have done a great job with that, and I really applaud this council for doing this. That is fantastic. The school benefits, we benefit as a community. I don't have kids in school anymore, but let me tell you, I still have a passion for what goes on in this community and what goes on in that school. And I see it. And I need to see that there is the passion that everybody else has as well for that. I just can't put away 38 years of living in this community and just look at it and say there's nothing that's being accomplished, because there is things. There are good things that have been accomplished. And I would just hope that is something that you would take back from the experience that I'm asking you to take into account here today. And if you guys ever question what's going on with the police department, come and talk to me. I've lived here. You guys know where I live. You guys know where I work. And I haven't had one question about that bus. Not one question about that bus from the Holiday gas station. It's a major thing. That's why when the mayor was, the former mayor, and I had this little group that we get together the morning after the city council meeting, that's why we've been meeting. What can we do better? We are doing it. We're doing something. We're making some progress. Let's keep supporting that. And I appreciate the fact, again, what you guys are doing, it's a tough job. But if you wonder if someone's doing their job, call and ask.
I don't think we have to call and ask you, Wade, because we all of us live here too. You know, and I understand your passion for the school. We all have the same passion for the school. So I don't think that has any bearing on whether somebody lives right in town or drives into town. We have 3 employees in this building. Not one of them live in Stanley. So, I mean, I appreciate what you're saying. Everything you're saying, I appreciate that. But I don't think it has a lot of credence to the way I think.
I just think that it's important. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking up.
And I guess I would like to just take 2 minutes to speak to that, Wade, also. For the longest time, that was my hang up every single time. Born here, raised here, moved away, obviously like it, I came back. And Ty and Linda and Lauren, when we went through this the first time, I was adamant. Nope, we need to have that person in town. You go through our pool of people that we have, and we had the position open for quite a while. There is nobody. We didn't have any other applicants that fit what we were looking for. So I thought, I'm going to go out on the internet and I'm going to look. And just bear with me for 30 seconds while I find this again real quick. So if you Google K-Fire TV and you Google Beulah's mayor, you're going to pull up an article that they just did on February 25th, 2023. And it's Beulah's mayor is also Adams County narcotics detective. And the last time I checked, Beulah is not in Adams County. They're making it work over there. I appreciate the old school because I fall right in there. I'm above that 35 mark anymore. I get it. I understand it. I like the same thing. But I think the transition of today's day and age is moving. It's moving towards that. We can't always expect that those people can always live here all the time. I want to applaud him for being very honest to us, saying, no, I'm going to keep my residence, but I'm also going to have an apartment available to me at my will, which means it's always there. I got to think that he's not going to roll into town at 7:59, go to work, and at 5:01, put it in drive and head west. So, you know what I mean? If anybody would like that article, I'd be happy to share it with you. It's right here. It's right in the same small town that we live in, Beulah, North Dakota.
I think he's attached to a task force. It covers
Yeah,
11 counties, if I remember correctly.
but he doesn't live in the middle of it where he's working, according to the article. That's what I'm saying, is that,
Well, I understand what you're saying.
Chad, is that the same as a police chief, the same as a part-time mayor, where a mayor is not, that's not an emergent position. Like, you can't make it from here running code from here to Tioga in 30 minutes, and he can't run code in that situation anyway. So like, not having anybody that's based here, that's my question.
right,
Not the same.
and I understand that. What I'm saying is he has to live in Beulah and he's employed elsewhere, just exactly the same as here, lives in Tioga, employed elsewhere. And
Well, he's the mayor of the town of his residence. So it would be
Right.
like if the chief of police was here, but the mayor of Tioga or something, it's not the same. You know what I mean?
So if there was a 911 emergency here where our full police force was needed, we would have to wait for them to come from Tioga.
well, I would hope that our full police force would respond to that with him on his way.
In our current situation too, our current chief, he is gone most weekends, like in Watford, or he has his kids. So he doesn't respond to calls on off hours. So it is our other officers that are responding to those calls. When we look at a police chief, they do a lot of administrative work. And I think that once you guys see his passion for it and just the people that he's worked with, that the sheer passion that they see in him, and they've said that you guys, his presence will definitely be here.
And the other thing that I totally agree with, Wade, this last handful of months, we've saw what our police force can do. We have good officers. Matter of fact, one of them was in the pool. So yes, that piece of leadership is there for that X number of hours in the evening and at the night. You can't disagree with that. That statement can't be discredited. But I feel that in the last 6 months, we have made leaps and bounds with where we were to where we are now. What's the problem? What's the problem, I guess? Let me ask you this, what have you guys heard?
I've only been asked to be here by a few citizens to try and find out what's going on. And all I'm doing is listening. And you just said the police department has improved leaps and bounds in 6 months. I'm a police chief. That's what I'm picking up. I sat in at the committee meeting also. Just less than impressed. So I don't know what you got.
So, well, that's a pretty brazen statement to make, Mike, but let's not get into them weeds. Let me answer your question, okay? With what we've seen, what has happened, essentially with the placement of Demetrius into the interim chief and then into the probationary stage of the chief, we operated as a normal police department. To our knowledge, there was no problem. And I know I mean, we've lived here just like you. We know what this ludicrous rumor mill is and how it runs rampant in the town. And we talk about cut wages and we talk about not buying equipment and all that. And no, I'm not saying that you have, but I'm saying that's what's out there. That's what's been relayed to some of us. There was no perceived problem. I mean, the equipment, every piece that they ever asked for, we updated at will. The wages, we've acknowledged it. We've raised them where we could, when we could. We didn't think there was a problem.
Can I ask what his resignation, why the reasons he resigned?
I'd love to tell you. The second line of it states, as you are aware, there has been conflict and hostility between myself and the city council members, and the difficulty is yet to be resolved. That's his statement. It's public record. If you'd like it, I'd be happy to share it with you. I talked to him personally. Linda and I met, we visited with him, and we explained some things that he had asked for on behalf of his officers as far as hours go, and drew it out on paper to a T. Asked him if that was acceptable to his officers, and he said yes. What the problem is they don't want to work 171 hours. They wanted to work 160. I was all in favor of it. I went to the council and said, that's a normal work week in my world. I didn't realize that 171 hours in a 28-day pay period was a normal work week in the law department's world. We made that change. But before we made it, we pointed out that their wages or their annual base pay was derived from 171 hours. And that's been here for, I'm guessing, prior to your mayorship, So we just told them, we said, if that's what you want, that's fine, but you have to realize that your base rate is figured on 171 hours according to the history of whatever we could find. And if you choose to go to 160, you're going to see a little cut in pay. And are you sure that that's all right with your officers? And he said, yeah, the problem is the 171 hours. And so we said, well, if you guys are good, that's what you want, we have no problem with that. Knowing that you guys understand that you're going to see a drop in your take home pay because of those hours that you willingly give up. Now, with that said, we also offered it up and said, but if you want to work 171 hours, we more than support that also, so that you can see your full base salary. And at 171 hours and a half or whatever it is, your overtime is recognized. If you have overtime, we'll gladly, happily pay that too. And I think the problem came when he didn't fully understand that and he viewed it as hostility. And we talked to him again, said, can you meet again? Can we go over this? We're happy to throw this letter in the garbage. And he chose no. So it's not that this council fell short. I know that's the perception. We've done everything that we've been asked.
Fritz, did you have?
I don't talk very loud, but first of all, when you mention, and this guy might be the best candidate we've ever had, but I don't agree with not living in town because I consider him an emergency worker, same as Public Works. I don't consider the office gals, sorry, Lynn, but they're not emergency workers. Now, you're looking for a Public Works guy. Are you gonna have him be able to live wherever? And what if all your Public Works guys decided to live out of town? And you have a water break or somebody hits a hydrant in the middle of the night? Think twice about that.
No, I understand what you're saying, but also, I think what you guys are failing to look at is the fact that this position is more of a managerial position than it is anything else. I mean, he's gonna be managing a police force. They are gonna respond to all the calls immediately. And I understand your concern, and would I like it if he lived in Stanley full-time? Absolutely, I would. But when he said he will be staying here sometimes, I guess I don't have a problem with that.
One of the things at that committee meeting was one of your committee people said to Demetrius, you need to be out in the public more. And he said, well, I've been busy trying to fix the mess I inherited, which he probably has been. I agreed with him on that. The other thing maybe you want to look at, like we talked about a couple of years ago, have the county take over the policing for the city of Stanley. Just a thought. Corey was receptive of it back then. I think he still would be. It's something to look at. Get rid of the headache.
Well, it's something to think about, I guess, Fritz. Thanks for talking. Okay.
Different, just thing I'd like to bring up. I think this is being a little bit hasty. I mean, I didn't know about this meeting until this morning. I didn't understand that this agenda item would involve bringing forth a candidate to hire. I imagined it would be more advertised for the position, I guess. So I don't know that this is the best candidate if we don't open it up again to see what's out there. And we're relying on a list from a year and a half ago, I guess, but.
He was a great candidate a year ago or 6 months ago. I guess I don't see what would have changed at that point. They come with an approval from the police commission. They've interviewed him. They've talked with him. I don't see a problem with that. And the reason is on me for calling the special meeting and wanting this done. Our chief of police is going to be going Wednesday or Thursday is his last day, one of those. Our next meeting is Tuesday. I think our chief of police candidate would have a better time to sit down and talk with him and go over things that are going on right now, and that he could be brought up to speed by the chief of police that's currently here. That was the reason for calling it for tonight.
I guess I'm with Zach on this. I think I didn't know about the meeting till actually late this afternoon. And, as we did before with when Chris Halverson resigned, Demetrius became interim. And I think it should be opened up to a pool again. Maybe we have an officer on staff that can take that position over.
Well, I don't think we do, so,
Well, I guess
but
that's your opinion and I guess this is mine, but I'm not for just going from the last pool. I think it should be advertised and let's check out some candidates.
well, I guess surprises me a little that you would say that since you were for this guy 6 months ago, so.
But I chose Demetrius.
Yeah. Well, any other discussion?
Can I ask what Demetrius's pay was?
Pardon?
What was Demetrius's salary?
Demetrius's salary was what, 83,000? 82? Lynn?
He was currently at 80,000. You guys were just gonna do his 6-month review, so then he would have increased to 82.
82, okay. What's that?
Is he a K-9 officer also, because we'll be losing that with Demetrius too, right?
Why the pay raise?
Why the pay raise?
Why the pay raise? Because of the years of experience.
Does he have a K-9 also?
Stanley has a K-9.
That stays with the department, that doesn't stay with the handler?
Pardon?
That stays with the department and not the handler?
Please take that podium because I can't hear you.
That's okay, sorry. I just asked if the K-9 dog that we have now that Demetrius has, does that stay with our police department? Or
Yes.
does it stay with his handler?
No, it stays with the police department.
And he can just jump from one cop to the next? Or he has to be
Well,
trained for a new guy, or how does that work?
there's some retraining to do, but I guess it can be done. Yeah.
Who will redo the training?
Who will redo the training?
Yeah.
I don't know that right now. But there are,
You would keep the dog with the department and take him from Demetrius, not knowing if he can be retrained and assigned to an
we
department?
do know that he can be retrained,
According to who?
according to the people I've talked to. So,
According to
the dogs
people at
can,
the training facility?
yeah, the dogs can be, yes, the dogs can be retrained.
It is possible, it is very much not ideal. As a canine handler, I can speak that it is not. Generally speaking, the dog does not perform, 1. 2, it's very difficult to rebond. And if you can get the training facility to do a retrain, which they don't like to do, it's still, that's gonna be additional costs. $10,000 to $12,000 just in the retrain.
Well-
Not counting the dog.
Would it be possible for the handler's new department to just purchase the dog?
For Demetrius to purchase it?
Yeah.
We haven't, I guess, discussed the dog yet with Demetrius, whether we're gonna sell it to him or what. So it's city property, so I mean, we just haven't had that conversation with Demetrius. But, what's that?
He's leaving and you have not had that conversation yet?
No, we have not had that conversation. We just got the resignation notice. Him and I have talked personally about it. And I said I would bring it up to the other people, but we have not had that council meeting where we can. So I have to find out what these people are going to be for before we can do something like that. I can't go to him and make a deal with him myself. So that's where we're at on that.
Does the proposed candidate have canine experience though, with a different dog?
I don't think so.
That'd be my next question, is who you would have as a handler, who you would have in mind as a handler. It's currently, if you're planning on keeping it, where you're going to keep it, and how you're going to address those issues.
I don't know, we'll have to talk that over with the new candidate, I guess, that takes over the chief of police position. Any further discussion? Lynn?
Lauren,
Aye.
Zach,
No.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
No,
George,
No.
Chad.
All right.
With that tie, I will break the tie, and I am for hiring this position. So with that say, motion carries to hire. Police committee appointment is the next item on the agenda. Since I appoint the police committee, I am gonna appoint Chad Hischlin. So,
Can I ask a question, Mr. Mayor?
yes, you can.
Chad, I mean, no disrespect at all, okay, first off. How many committees are the three of them on together?
I guess I don't know.
Public Works would be, we're all together, and then that would be police committee too.
On the Public Works with Lauren and Employment with Linda.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
With that said, if there's nothing else, Chad, did you have a comment or?
Me?
Yeah, oh, okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. The motion carries.